Our final recipient this evening is James Skip Thomas. Presenting this Medal of Honor are Chief Darren Stewart and Jim O'Boyle, both of whom are former recipients of the Medal of Honor. Come on up.
As some of you may know, Skip was in the first graduating class at East Catholic High School in Manchester, where he played baseball. One afternoon, there was a game scheduled after school. However, the last period of the day was a Latin exam. Skip must have appeared a little bit antsy because the good sister who was teaching the class said to him, "Mr. Thomas, do you think baseball is more important than Latin?" Skip replied, "No, sister." She said, "Well, then calm down. The bus will wait for you." Now, I'm not convinced that at that stage in his life, Skip actually believed that Latin was more important than baseball. But as a product of that environment, I can assure you that his was the right answer. Skip has gone on to be the right answer in a variety of places and occupations. And I will turn the mic over to Chief Stewart, who will elaborate a little on that.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about our friend Skip, and the opportunity to really talk about a wonderful person. He's been a police chief in 2 communities around the state. He's been the president of the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association. He's been the director of Homeland Security. And where we really, Jim and myself, got to meet him is when we got asked and had the privilege to serve on the Connecticut Police Chiefs Law Enforcement Memorial Foundation. And that foundation really motto is never forget. And it has to do with the police officers around the state. And there has been 138 officers that have died in the line of duty throughout the state of Connecticut. And Skip has led that charge of never forget. And actually one of the first things that I noticed right away is we went to one of the first meetings, and there was one of the spouses that was having a difficult time because of the dates of the passing of her husband. And she was having issues with the garage door. And they were putting together who was going to go out and fix that garage door for her to make things better. He also heads the 100 Club, which is a club that cares. They take care of the financial end of firefighters, corrections officers, and police officers and their families that have died in the line of duty. This really turns tragedy into hope and caring. He's the real deal. And I remember as about 15 years ago, before I had the opportunity to meet Skip, my predecessor, Dave Erskine, the chief in Stonington, said, "Hey, when you meet Skip, he's a true gentleman. He is the real deal." And it turns out to be true. He's a leader that is humble, honest, and truly caring of people. Lou Holtz, Notre Dame's great football coach, always said, "You need caring, trust, excellence, and commitment to be a great leader." And that is who Skip is, and because of these traits, he commands the respect of all members of law enforcement in the state of Connecticut and throughout really New England. He's the reason when you can go out tonight that you're safe. He has helped countless police officers because of his caring, and afterwards in the families that have laid down the ultimate sacrifice. On TV, you see all the time detectives that are out conducting violence, unethical acts, and we sit there and watch this and get an impression of police officers. Skip was once a detective, and I can assure you those actions are never there. He set the example about that. At one time, he was even thinking of becoming a priest and almost did. So I think he used that confessional to bring people in, and they would confess to him. Not the way you read and see on TV, but he would come out. And in Stonington, we used to have a police officer, we called him Father Greg. So, and Father Craig, and Craig would always come out and he'd go, "Yep, they confessed." So Skip, I think, was Father Skip. He'd always get him to confess, and that's why he was promoted. But he really, it's about truth, honesty, and what is right, and that is why he's here tonight. And there's countless police officers' families, and some of them are even here tonight, that have to thank Skip for never forgetting about the sacrifices people make. So congratulations, Skip.
We got one more piece of business here. The St. Edmunds Medal of Honor presented to James Skip Thomas, President, the 100 Club of Connecticut, October 14th, 2016. St. Michael the Archangel, the defender of God's people and patron of those who protect and serve, cries out, "Who is like unto God?" And the gospel tells us that the truth and the faithful disciple is one who does the will of our Father in heaven. Chief Skip Thomas, as a public servant, volunteer, husband, and father, has manifested the gospel mandate to be of service to the poor and needy, the rich and powerful, to all, no matter who they are or what station in life they hold. His humble and enduring leadership has been a testament to the life of discipleship to all God's people. The seeds he has sown have borne fruit in the lives of others in our community.
So in the tradition of St. Edmund of Canterbury, Skip Thomas is an ordinary person living an extraordinary life. He truly is a person of virtue, compassion, and grace. It is therefore the distinct honor and high privilege of the Board of Trustees of St. Edmund's Retreat to bestow upon Chief James Skip Thomas the St. Edmund's Medal of Honor for service to the church and community.
Thank you very much, Darren and Jim. It really is very humbling. I'm following people who have done so much more than I have ever done in my entire life. But I tell people, law enforcement for people like Darren, myself, Jim. I have fellow law enforcement people here today, and people members are the board of directors from the Connecticut Police Chiefs Law Enforcement Memorial, the 100 Club, they're here. To me, it's a vocation. It's a special calling. Many called, few were chosen. Become a police officer today in our state, it's a very involved process, and I really truly believe it's one of the greatest things you can do for other people if you want to make a difference in people's lives. And what we see sometimes on TV and others, it's really not just like that. Men and women every single day going out 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, making a difference in people's lives. And to me, that was all about. I have some of my fellow officers who I supervise, they say, "Oh no, the chief went out and read another book. We are in trouble." You know, and I did survive Catholic high school, Catholic college, and graduate school, and I enjoyed it all. But I remember reading one book by Thomas Watson, the founder of IBM, and he gave me 3 basic principles that are still there today. Number 1, respect people in and outside of the organization. And that means everybody, victim, suspect, accused, whoever you dealt with. If you treat people with dignity and respect, you're going to get it back. 2, good customer service. And people said, what is this guy talking about, customer service? Every person that travels through the great town of Stonington and on highways of Connecticut, there are customers. And the way you interact with them makes all the difference in the world. And my last thing, which I really believe, because we're all different people, as Sister had said, a commitment to excellence. Every day, whatever job you have, an attorney, car dealership owner, teachers, etc., do the very best you can. If you do those 3 things, you are going to win, win, win. And I was in that job, vocation, if you will, for 42 years. And I want to thank my family here, my wife and 2 daughters, who put up with 42 years of phone. It's never good news at 3 o'clock in the morning when that phone rings. I will tell you that. But I thank everybody and all my friends from law enforcement that are out there today, the 100 Club. We do make a difference in people's lives, and it's people like yourselves who really believe in what we're doing. And again, I thank you very, very much.